go back and watch this or pass it on to people that weren't able to be with us tonight. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Lizzie. I'm CEO of New Zealand Pony Club, and with me tonight I have got
Dina
me over.
Wells.
Excellent.
I am based in Cambridge in the Waikato, and yes, a pony club mum. Well, was a pony club mum, so my daughter's now reaching the age of deciding whether she's a senior or not. But no, being part of a committee as well. Worked from the bottom up as we all have done, and also done a little bit of coaching. So yeah, have a bit of a fair understanding on how a pony club works.
Yeah.
And also we've got Todd.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'd imagine if any of you have attended webinars, you all recognise me and my voice by now. So I'm not going to go into bigger things. We're just here to talk Constitution. So exciting.
Excellent. So as we go along, if you do have questions, do pop your hand up or pop them in the chat. Like all our normal webinars, we may actually get to your question as part of our slides. So please do not be offended if we say we're getting to that soon. So welcome to our first webinar about the transition. Now that our last webinars were about the Constitution and the process and the restructure. So our purpose tonight is to start with a step-by-step guide and process of the transition. So transitioning to the new Constitution and looking at decisions, the templates and the timelines. Just want to reiterate that this is about the constitutions. This is not about the general regulations. Oh, sorry, Bex is here. Jump in, Bex.
Sorry, when you guys were talking, I was having to do up buttons on pajamas, so. So hi all, I'm Bex Dearden. I am a board member from Taranaki into year 7 on the board, and in that time I've been part of E&D, looked after the Health Safety Committee, been on the Finance Committee at various stages, and looked after the Writers' Council. So I've done a bit of everything, it feels like, on the board. I'm very new to being a pony club mum though, so that one's a new experience.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks, Bex. Sorry about that. Didn't see you pop in there. So as I was saying, this is not the general regulations. This is not the membership regulations, and this is not the event regulations. This is just the Constitution. So if it's not in the Constitutions, it will be in one of those other documents. So our themes tonight is to look at clarity and outlining what needs to happen and when. Consistency, ensuring that the same approach is applied across all the current branches, clubs and areas, moving into when we become clubs and regions, and also showing you that providing you with tools, templates and examples of how your decisions can be made. And we already know that a number of you have started making decisions already, because I've been getting lots of wonderful emails, and I'm actually saying to you, wait, slow down. So I'm just going to find the next screen, and this shows you about what we're doing tonight. I should have just had that on. So the why are we here, and then we're going to be moving on to the key features of the clubs and regions in the Constitution and where you can find those, the timelines and transitions of what you need to do and when, the submission form and how you're going to communicate your decisions with us. Questions about assets, they have been a few of our big questions coming up, so we'll go back to those. And then in summary again, the transition and showing you where to find the resources, and at the end, any questions and answers. So let me just move that over. And as I said, this is all being recorded. So after the fact, it will be online for you to be able to go and use. the slide deck will also be there. Okay, let me just go to the next slide. I think this is you, Todd. Oh, you're muted.
Cool. Okay, so key features of the new constitution. So obviously, as you guys know, there's a number of changes that have come through. Can everyone hear me okay? Is my mic good? Yep.
Yep.
And the Act
Yep, all good.
In particular, oh, Michelle, I did see your thing there to say that people are waiting to come in, but we've got an auto admit on, so they should all be coming in, if that's
Cool.
the
Thanks, Todd.
question you're asking. So under the Act, couple of changes. So the society needs a minimum of 10 members. We've been very specific in here and said that we haven't put a minimum number of youth members that a pony club needs to operate. So it just needs 10 members to meet the requirements of the Incorporated Society Act. However, voting at general meetings is based on the number of youth members. And as per the NZPCA constitution, these are based on members under the age of 25. Those under 18, the parent votes, and if they're 18 to 25, then the rider votes. And life members at those clubs will also have a vote. Now, keeping in mind the importance of this, at the AGM or an SGM, that's where you select your committee. So that's where the youth members and the youth focus comes in. So the only way to nominate a person onto a committee is by having them nominated by a parent of one of the children. They don't need to be a parent themselves. They can be any form of member. However, they do need to be nominated, seconded, and voted on by those people who can vote. So life members or parents of kids under 18 or those riders 18 to 25. So that's probably the big clarification in the new constitution. For life members, historical, we've had a bit of questions on these ones when if regions change or clubs merge or any of those sorts of things, then those life members will be grandfathered into the new club or region wherever the existing club goes. We're not going to just write off the support and the dedication these members have given. Committee. There's a minimum of 4 on the committee. The Act provides 3, President, Secretary and Treasurer, and we've said 1 other. So there's a minimum of 4 for a committee to form. From a region perspective, the view is that each club will have 1 member on the committee. So every club is required to put a representative up who will be on the committee of the region. So they're the big features and changes in the new constitution. As you can see, this is constitutional stuff. There's a lot of things that happen outside, but those are managed via regulations. So your rallies and all of those sorts of things are governed under regulations, and they don't need to be defined in the constitution. So they're not defined here. So the next one we're working on to is the timeline, Lizzie, I think.
Oh, sorry. Was that the right one? Okay, this was mine, wasn't it? Okay, so this is where we are up to with the timeline. You can see where we've come from. So we are up to August, September, where the local templates will be released, and I will take you at the end of the night to where you can find those. You can go and have a really good read of them. Todd has outlined the what we felt were the big changes. After that, and some of you already have done this, you've already had those discussions and the decision period, and this all kind of merges in together with the local AGMs and SGMs to adopt your structure, and then lodging with NZPCA your constitutions for approvals, and then your final constitutions being lodged with the incorporated societies. And we're sticking with the 1st of April 2026, the NZPCA constitution comes into effect.
So the key thing to note in this timeline is this is flexible for the clubs of the region, so you don't need to wait to December 2025 to adopt a structure if you're ready to go. Once we release the templates and you guys have discussed them and you're happy with them, you send your request through to Lizzie via the form that she's going to take you through, and we can start the ball rolling. You don't need to sit on it, wait. If you're all ready to go, please give your data through to Lizzie. I want to just reiterate in here, even if you have already emailed Lizzie and said, hey, we're doing this, we'd still like you to complete the form so that we can capture everyone and we know who we're chasing up. And this is incredibly important because this is going to be how we send out your customized constitutions and resolutions based on where you're going, to make it easier for your committees and everything else. So even if you've already had a phone call or dropped an email through, still complete the form so that we can capture it all in a single database and make sure we're getting everybody caught and we're involving everybody in it.
And just welcome to Will. Will has been able to join us now, so Will, welcome. Okay, so we're going to go into more detail here about what's inside of the timeline and your structure of your transition. So I know that some of you have already had your discussions at step 1, and potentially, as Todd just said, you've let us know what you're going to do. But so the discussion there and your decisions, that's the first thing, and we actually need all of that to happen by the 15th of December. So if we haven't heard from you probably a month out from the 15th of December, we'll be getting in touch with you and saying, hey, how can we help? And that option is there for any of you at any time. If you've got questions, please either call, book a Teams meeting so we can look at your structure on the computer together, or flick me an email. So you can go back into the previous webinars and you can actually see the templates to help you make the decision. So they were in webinar 3, and we actually also had those at conference, and they'll be on the website, the page that we're going to show you. So as Todd said, we need you to notify step 2 us of your intended structure. So basically, who is that? Could be the club president, the club secretary, the club treasurer, and it's going to be an online submission link. It's a form. We'll take you at the end of the page to show you exactly what you need. Once you've given us your online submission link, your application to change your structure and what you're going to look like is going to be approved by NZPCA. That's the subcommittee, and we will send it back to you saying, yep, approved, or we might have further questions. And as Todd said, we will send you the relevant files. We will send you the customised template with the name that you give us, with the balance date that you give us, with the email that you give us. So when you're submitting things, you'll have to fill in all of these details, which we'll show you.
Yeah, and
basically, as soon as you've done that,
just quickly on here, what we're trying to do is we're trying to make this easier for you and your committees. We're not trying to sneak something through or do something dirty. We just want to make sure that and make it easier. We know where all the names need to be updated, all the fields that need to be adjusted, rather than coming back and going back and forwards if things aren't completed. We thought it was easier for you to tell us exactly how you're going to structure it, and we'll give you the customized files that allow you then to send them straight out to your members and say, hey, this is the details for the SGM to pass it all. It's not us trying to do a swift one. It's us going, how can we make this easy to make sure it's all done correctly? You guys have functional constitutions, and you aren't going to run the risk of having them rejected by the registrar for a drafting issue or something like that.
And it's also so everything stays in one centralized place, and that it's not an email over here, an email over here, a phone call over here, a Facebook Messenger. Sorry, I can't take your Facebook messages unless it's personal stuff, or a Teams message. So it's all in one place. So once you've got that, you can hold your SGM to approve your new constitution, and we will even send you the wording for the 3 resolutions, because it's very specific, the 3 resolutions that you need to have at your SGM to approve your constitution. Then you will upload it back to us so we can just go, yep, it's all done, it's all checked, it's all been signed off. We tick it, and then you're going to be able to upload it to the registrar. Well, your authorised person with the registrar will submit it to the incorporated societies. You'll upload your constitution and you'll apply to re-register, all before the 1st of April 2026.
Yeah. So
and
just looking at those completion dates, those dates are the drop dead dates. If you're ready to go earlier. These are the last possible dates for us to make sure, when we've gone through and worked out how long it takes us to work through and to do things based on holidays and leave and everything else, to get things done, and to make sure that we're all ready to go by the April deadline for the registrar. So these are the drop dead dates. You'll be hearing from us, and the reason for requiring you to do everything on a Google form is so that we can track who's been in contact and who's got what, so we know where you're at the process, and we can chase up and follow up if things are missed to make sure it works. Lizzie.
And just do be aware that the office, we will be closing about the 18th of December, just for those 2 weeks of Christmas, New Year. If we've got out of offices on, we do check them, but we won't be processing. If I've got an out of office on, I won't be processing it. So just be aware of that. You'll get an acknowledgement and say, yep, we received it, but just know that it's important, and we'll get to it as soon as we can. Okay,
Sarah, you had a question there. Do we have to have held our AGM and had the year-end financials before updating with the Incorporated Societies Act? No, this process is running separately. It's not being done at an AGM, it's being done at an SGM, so a special general meeting. And it's the only item that general meeting is going to cover is the Constitution. It's not going to be anything else. So you're not waiting on financials or any of those other things. A key point to note, one of the key forms in here is the transitional process. So the Constitution allows for whoever is on the existing committee to roll forward in the new structure with no change until the next AGM. So if you get yours done in November, you have your SGM, you go through, and your normal AGM is in May, then your existing committee will carry through with the new constitution from November, moving forward until May, and then it will go into the new cycle. So you don't have to do anything else. It's not part of the AGM. It's an SGM, and everybody rolls over until the next AGM. Hope that's clear.
Okay, so you've made your decisions, your committees, your club, your branch, your club. You've made your decision, and you don't actually need to have an SGM to make the decision. You do have to have an SGM to action the decision, and that's either merging, closing, winding up, or adopting a new constitution. But you've made the decision, so there will be a link to you all, and I'll be sharing this with you soon, to this form. So this form is
just quickly, Lizzie, I've got 2 questions in here that I think we can answer. So first, can Horsemasters members vote at the December SGM? Generally, no, because they won't be part of the voting under the current constitution, and they're not going to have voting rights in the new constitution unless they are also a parent of a riding member. Is the quorum set, or can we choose new in the new constitution? The quorum is set. The quorum for an AGM is set as a percentage of members in line with the national constitution, and the same goes for a committee. It's 50% of the members. keeping in mind that there's only four on the a minimum of four on the committee now, so technically that would only be 2 people.
As a quorum.
And I think we said 51, which means 3 of the 4 would generally have to be there at the meetings. And does the current branch becoming a club need to hold the SGM first, or do the new regions go first? You're not linked. They run independently of the process. So the Constitution doesn't define what region you're a part of. You'll roll up to wherever. So if you're going to become a club, then you tell us that you're going to become a club. If you're going to become part of a new region, or you've been talking about that, then that's part of the form that Lizzie's going to go through now.
Excellent. So this form is for everyone. So this form is for clubs, branches and areas to complete as part of the restructure process. So it applies no matter what. It applies if you're changing. It applies if you're winding up. It applies if you're closing, and it even applies if you're continuing on with no changes. Each current entity needs to complete one individual form. So basically I will be cross-referencing, and I'll be looking at your areas and going, okay, Ashburton, South Canterbury, North Otago, I've got from X, Y, Z, and be checking off. So basically going through the form, hopefully it's pretty simple. So there's a name of the person completing the form. So you're the person that I'll be responding to. Your current role on the committee. These are all you have to complete these. The current name of your group. So whatever your group's name is, and the current email. And you just need to select for us just to help us out with our cross-checking if you're a branch, club or area.
So
There's
just
a
quickly on
drop-down.
those ones, if we just go back into them. So name of person completing this, your name, current role, we would be expecting by and large these will be done by either the secretary or the president of the group involved, and that's sort of, or the district commissioner if you're a club. That's what we're looking for in there. The current name of your group, that is your club's name. Waitemata Rodney Area Pony Club, Warkworth Branch Pony Club, that's what we're looking to see in there. Group email. This is not a personal email. If you have a generic email, that's the email that we're wanting to see. So we're wanting to see warkworthponyclub@gmail.com or something like that in this one. We're not wanting to see bubbles123@hotmail.com as one of these ones. We don't want to see your personal ones. We want to see the generic ones for your club, because this is going to be the one that we put into the Constitution as the core contact if the registrar needs to contact someone.
And I have to go further from that. That is what we've been doing since conference. We've been sending out the emails that come under manage our club. So if you haven't been getting emails, you need to go and check in the manage my club where they've been going. We've been trying to do a lot of work on that. So you'll be ticking what you currently are, if you're a branch, if you're currently a club, or you're currently an area. And we also need you to select a current area that you're from. And there's a drop-down box. So it's just a tick of all of you. Okay, so now we're going into, we've got what you currently are, what your proposed structure is going to be. Actually, so it says becoming a club. There should actually needs to be. So I'll have to go and edit remaining a club, because some of you are already clubs without branches. So if you're a branch, you will either be becoming a club, winding up, merging with someone else. If you're an existing in the area, you're an existing area becoming the region, or you're splitting the region, or other. So that's where you don't fit into any of those, and you might be merging with someone and forming a new region, or going to a different region. Just give us a little bit of a description there of what you're doing, or what you're proposing to do. What is your new proposed name? So if you've got a new name, or you're retaining that name, please put it in there as well, because that is what's going to come out to you in your personalised constitution template. The proposed balance date, if you can answer there, it is standard for 31st March. Todd, can you go a little bit further into what the balance date is for some people, maybe?
So this is not your membership year. This is not this is purely for financial reporting. So although it's nice if it follows a membership year, it's not essential. All this does is it provides for, by and large, the standard tax reporting and financial reporting. It's set to 31 March for the vast majority of our clubs because that's the tax reporting that people have got to. And if they GST registered for some reason or another, that's what they were filing to and they were going through, even if they were not profit generating.
And we'll fill that in your constitution for you as well. That's why we need it, because that's one of the questions.
Can we, to change to coincide with our membership here, we looked at that, Lisa. Unfortunately, we don't have standard membership years across the country. What we also have an issue with, and the reason why we're proposing 31 March, we have a balance, I think ours is 30 April, Lizzie?
Yeah.
And so we need you guys to close a month before us so that we can get your reports and everything up and consolidate them up in line. Otherwise, we can't meet our reporting timeline. So we're a month later, but it means that we close off membership things and everything on 31 March so we can see everyone's picture for our AGMs. So we don't want people going to align their balance date with their membership year, because in the bottom of the South Island, those clubs have a different membership year to the top of the South Island, which have a different membership year to those in the North Island, just due to who can get on and where. We did look at standardising our membership year. That, however, is set in the general regulations.
But you do always have the option. Some of you are annual and some of you are anniversary. So that's a discussion for another time. You could look at those type of things as well.
Yeah, so at this stage, the ideal for us would be to start standardising the balance dates and then move a membership year around those. They don't need to be aligned, because what we should be encouraging is our members to pay their membership at the start of the membership year and not pay it at the end of the membership year when they need to try and get onto a team, which seems to be what happens in a lot of places when they're trying to make up numbers. So there's a number of things to think through.
Yeah.
The first step is proposed balance date. The majority of clubs have 31 March. It's a common one that most people are used to working to. If you're getting your accounts reviewed, then it's a good one that your accountants understand. If you start going outside of that, then you can start creating certain problems with people.
Excellent. Okay, carrying on to this form. So your proposed group email, if different, so that's not a required one. Proposed new groups region. So if wherever you are, what is the region you're going to be in? And this might be, we might be seeing some new regions, we might be seeing some split regions.
Good then, right?
And also proposed structure type. Are you a club or are you a region? We've also asked for you here to show us if you are allocating assets, if you've had to allocate assets, has it been an even split? Has it been a membership-based split? Has there been physical asset distributions or other? You might not be doing anything with your assets because you have just continued. You've been a club and you're carrying on as a club, or there might be a mix. So if you could just type in there what you've done. The date of the committee's decision to decide where you were going, and remembering that didn't have to be an SGM. Some of you have had SGMs, but the decision didn't have to be at an SGM. It could just be at a committee meeting. Is the resolution to adopt the structure contained in your attached minutes, because you have to upload your minutes, so we can actually see that you did have a resolution and had a discussion and a motion and a seconder that you were going to be doing this for your structure, and we want you to upload those meeting minutes. And then last but not least, it's you just need to tick the box, yes, I can confirm the above information is true or correct, and that the decision was made in accordance with the NZPCA regulations. You press submit, you will be you've put it into the application stage, and your submission will move to the approval stage, and we will be in touch with you as soon as we can to confirm the approval and send you the relevant files.
So the key things on there, be patient. I'm imagining that we could get a massive rush after this meeting of everybody who's ready to go forward. We've only got a small team of us that are looking at these and working through these. So if you can just give us a little bit of time, we're going to try and turn them around as quickly as possible. But if we get a massive lot of applications in, then it's going to take us a little time to churn through them and send them out. Is there a preferred size or guideline for the new region layer? That's set by the board and that's set by discussions. There isn't a preferred size, and the key thing on there is, from a board's perspective, when we're talking about the regions and we're discussing it, it needs to be a level that like it needs to be more than one club as a part of it, but how many more depends on the geography, the topography, the number of members that those individuals clubs have, how easily they work together, how far they've got to travel to work together. All of those things come into it. So our leading goal is to make sure that we're encouraging more people to enter Pony Club, and Pony Clubs are supported, but not that we're going to provide a hard and fast line. Will, you had something to add?
I did, but you sort of covered it straight after I put my hand up. But broadly, we tried to make this the constitutional part of it not too restrictive, so people can configure their regional layer as it's going to suit them. Because we know across the country, it's also there's a geographic element, there's a kind of intensity element as well. Some people are quite comfortable operating a large region, others would prefer to keep it more localized. So whatever's going to work for you and your Pony Club community is, put that in your application, and the board will consider it. But for the most part, the board are open to any configuration, big or small.
Excellent. And I've just noticed that Kelly, one of our other board members, has joined us as well. So I hope I haven't missed anyone else on who's there. It's quite a few people. Okay, next slide.
Guiding principles for asset distribution.
We've been getting a few questions on assets.
The key thing in here, and the guiding principle is that top one. Assets stay with the level that continues the activity. So if you are a branch, you've got assets in there and you're going to become a club, your assets aren't going anywhere. From our perspective, as a board, we're leaving this up to the clubs to decide the most appropriate way to allocate their assets, because they're the ones who are closest to their members, understand how the assets are used, and understand the best way to make sure that the value is maximized, either in their grouping of new clubs or amongst their members. So from our side, branch becomes a club, all the assets stay exactly as they are. It's only a name change. If the club previously operated under a club, so the district structure, assets will be distributed to the newly formed clubs. Easy with money. You've got your options. You can send it either equally based on the number of clubs. You can do it based on members. NZPCA's view is that the more correct one is to do it on members, because that's how it's come up. If you have other assets, we expect you guys to think about the most appropriate way to ensure that their use is going to be maximized. So the key thing with that is, if you have a club and you have, say, dressage arena on a trailer that's sitting at that club or it's sitting at the district and there happens to be a branch that was there, then it would be logical that that trailer stays exactly where it is and those kids use it. If you have assets that are moved around, then think about what's the best club to manage those, the best club to ensure that they get shared out and they move. In the majority of cases, we would hope that it would be quite a logical process and it would be quite obvious. If you have concerns or if you have issues, please ask. We can provide guidance on individual curly ones, but we expect things to be, we expect you guys to go, right, what makes sense? What's fair for our riders? What's fair for our members? Where's the most appropriate place for these to sit? We're not encouraging you to sell assets and distribute cash because these assets are expensive and they're hard to replace. So you might get $3,000 for your jumps in your trailer and then have to go out and spend $20,000 to buy the replacements. And that's not a smart use. So if you can, please make sure that the assets stay in the clubs, they stay in those groups that the members can use. Kate, you asked a question, can you confirm the minimum number of riders required per club? As I said on the earlier slide, there isn't a minimum number of riders. There is 10 members that can be made up of whatever portion of riders and non-riders is appropriate for your club. We have not defined a minimum. However, the only ones who can vote are life members and your youth riding members. So it could end up if you only have one child, you have one parent who has one child and 9 other members in there, then it's only that one parent who has a vote for the committees or anything else. Is the resolution, Jessica, you asked, is the resolution required for the submission of the committees, i.e. SGM? I'm not sure what you're talking about there. So there's the 2 steps. The first step is you guys going, we're going to be a club or we're going to wind up, as an example, as a committee. So
The SGM,
the SGM happens right at the end when everything comes back for approval. Everything before then is purely committee meetings.
Tony's question is,
Tony, what if a parent club moves up as a region? If it meets the minimum requirements and it moves up as a region, and it's got those assets, and those assets end up being owned by the new region.
but I think also if you're talking about splitting the current area, so the current area and now the current area is split, there would be you'd be looking at those assets as well, wouldn't you?
Yeah, so
yes, just an idea at the moment.
Yeah, so if the current area was then basically being split, then those assets would also come into that being split part.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you imagine areas would not need to charge levies this year on the basis that the area has sufficient funds for the season? No idea. Each area is different. So we can't answer that one, Lisa. So the other key thing in here, if you have the last point on here, just going back to the asset distribution, venues and courses. In some cases, you might have courses that are currently used by 4, 5, 6 clubs, and you're going to continue owning them jointly. There is the option to incorporate that as a separate society with the members of clubs. Please let us know separately that this is something that you need and we can help you out. They can be incorporated as a standalone society.
And I can say, well, maybe I like with area levies, that has been a discussion point about area levies going forward into the future. So I know that the Finance Committee are looking at that. Okay.
That though is area levies from NZPCA to the areas. That's not necessarily area levies from the area to the clubs.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
don't have any say on those levies at a board level.
So going in now, because we're back to the structuring the transition, and we've talked about the online submission link. And so we're going to go to this part here. This is a website, a web page that you can't currently get to, but as soon as it's ready to be open tonight, you'll be able to get there. So this will be off the constitutions. It will be just sitting in here. So we've put in here the timelines that are coming up, the structuring, the transition. So it's all information is there. We've also added from previous slides, if you are the ones still having discussions about decision making. Earlier, we did do some templates with discussion points. That was in webinar 3 to help you make those decisions and to go into more depth about the different options. So they are there. Also coming down here further is where you will be able to find the submission form for the restructure process. I just need to do one quick change to it because I found that we didn't have remaining a club on there. So please hold your horses. So we'll pop that there. So that's there where you can go through. And this is where now you can find the club constitution, the region constitution, and of course the national constitution that we adopted earlier in the year in Christchurch. So we've got those sitting here.
Can I ask that even though they're here, you don't jump the gun, grab the constitution, write your name in and send it back to us? We will manage that process for you and get them back to you properly formatted and ready to go.
They're basically for you to read at the moment. Also, we've got some resources now. I must admit these have not yet been absolutely, what's the word? Approved, but they are some closing and winding up process for branches, clubs and areas. So to use this form, if you are looking at winding up, you're going to cease to exist. So it's got a process in there, exactly what you need to do. We've got the same for merging. So I'll click into it and you can see it's got draft on it because we didn't get to the approval stage today. So it's got all the key questions of what you need to do if you're winding up as part of this process. It even goes to the points of giving you an SGM template and a closing checklist. And that is the same for merging. And then we've also put together a special general meeting adoption pact. There just needs to be a couple of changes to the resolutions and the process. So we said we'll get all of these templates for you. They will be here for you to use. And that's on our website.
So Sally, you've got 2 questions here for me. So the minutes that you need to submit on the online form, they're the minutes from your committee meeting on your outlining what you are proposing. They are not the minutes from your SGM. Those minutes come through separately once you've got all your forms back. The SGM happens after the fact. This point here is you in your committee, you've said we are winding up or so we want to go to NZPCA to confirm we are winding up, or we are going to NZPCA and confirming that we are going to continue as a club, or we are going to merge. And that's a committee meeting because you can't make an SGM decision until you've had approval from NZPCA per the general regs. So then we give you your approval and you can then take it to your members and you can merge. So the minutes are the minutes from the committee meeting that you have had where the committee has decided the steps forward. Doesn't need to be at an SGM, the committee make that decision. The second question, yes, we should have discussed this. The people who submit to the registrar, that is your normal delegated authority person who submits your financial accounts and your notice of meeting to the registrar currently. They're all set up. They're the ones who are going to do the submission process for winding up. they're the person that we are going to, you're going to nominate in your resolutions to manage it on your behalf. So if we're already a club branch, we don't need to do the first committee meeting. If you are a club, it's still worthwhile at the committee meeting to say we're going to continue as a club. So we still want to have a meeting just to go through. It's just a resolution. Keep in mind, you don't need to have a full formal meeting. You can pass an electronic resolution in lieu of a meeting as long as all your members have signed it off, and you can give that through to Lizzie to say who was it and who signed it.
I still need the uploaded document from no matter what club you are, because it's going to show me your region. It's going to be used to check, and then and to give you back your constitution.
Yeah. So
no submission, no
the
constitution.
notes for the committee meeting, having a copy of your resolutions and all the people that signed it off is fine, but it's still got to be added into the form. Is it the first meeting? If you've already had your meeting and you have decided that, and that was done, say, back in July, that's fine. Tell us that you had your meeting back in July and here's the minutes.
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming if there are a number of clubs that have already had their meetings, and they had their meetings pre our AGM for a national body. So if you're ready to go, that's what you put in. So in summary, structuring your transition, we've got a detailed lot of the steps here. Those completion dates, it's incredibly important. Those are the drop dead dates. Please do not leave it to that date to complete everything, because if all of you do that, we're not going to get done on time. We will be chasing people up before these dates. So don't be surprised, even though we say 15th of December, if you get a call from us on the 1st of December or the end of November saying, hey, have you thought about this? Where are you at? Because we're not wanting to wait. We're wanting to move forward, particularly in these early stages of, have you made a decision?
And I guess that's a bit of a call out to, if you've got clubs or branches around you that have been quiet, or you're not sure if they're knowing what they're doing, just reach out and go, hey, do you need a hand? Are you up to date? Where are you sitting? All of that. This is definitely the time to collaborate.
And as you can see, what support is available, there's heaps of information on the website, but please contact us. If you've got questions, concerns, or some curly questions in your area or club, we're more than happy to talk to you and help you out. So please get in contact. Please let us know if there's something that we've missed and there's a question that we need to have answered, because we'll get onto that and update the website as appropriate. All of the information, the first point of call is the website. We're very keen to push that resource. We're putting everything we have up there very quickly.
Yeah, I'll update that submission form to make sure that remaining a club is on there. Are there any questions, or?
Was there another question in here? Does the board have an ideal number or maximum number of regions they will allow? No. We are open to discussions on those. Obviously, we don't want to have 90 regions, but so there's one region per 2 clubs or whatever the case may be. But we're not setting a top number, because we're willing to be. We've tried to leave this as flexible as possible so that you guys on the coalface can get something that works for you. So if you've got a proposal that you think would work and make your group of clubs work better, we will get onto it. Tony, it's going to be available on the website for the timetable, that timeline, so you can jump on there and grab it. It says the club will fill in the form, but we're a branch. Does each branch submit the form?
Yes, sorry, I'll change that. I'll just put president, secretary, treasurer.
It's your president, your secretary, your treasurer, one of those people.
Yep.
And that's because by and large, it's often the president or the secretary who do most of this information. So
It doesn't
yes,
have
as a
to be the
branch, it's
club.
your branch president or branch secretary. Do we need a resolution in our committee meeting for our decision, or is inclusion of the discussion in the minutes sufficient to submit with our form? We do need a resolution. We do need you to say we are becoming a club, or we are winding up. If you just had a generic discussion, then we don't actually know, still without a resolution, we don't know what you're going to do. So you need a resolution to say, and we have decided we are doing this. Does the club need to wait for an area to make a decision before making a decision at a committee meeting? I've discussed this one earlier, Emily. No, these are run independently. As a club, you decide what you're doing with your members. If you have ideas around the regions that you want to be a part of, put them up for us and we'll have discussions to go where do clubs sit, particularly if clubs are wanting to change regions or if clubs are wanting to move from one region and combine to form a new region. Notify us. It has no bearing on the club constitution, what we do at a regional level. And the region structure in the existing in the old constitution and in the new constitution that we've just done is all set by the board, so we can change that at any time. So constitutionally, there is no requirement for you to have a region before you do your club. We'll put you in one once we get to that point. Well, Tony, the Heratonga PC Pony Club branch is having a meeting on 8th October to discuss those options. Great. If you need support, please let us know.
Yep.
Only if you're doing it online. If you need somebody there, then it'll be a bit tough.
I'm there the week before, but not that week. I'm on holiday in the Hawke's Bay.
There you go, Tony. If you have it the week before, Lizzie can help you.
Yep, so sorry, where it was meant to say submit constitution to NZPCA, it should be president, secretary, or treasurer. Good spotting.
Thank you. Are there any other questions?
Yeah, I think there's one more, Todd, I seen in the questions.
Cheryl, you've raised your hand.
11 Pony Club has
I've
asked.
answered that one.
No, they've asked another one.
Here's mine, Todd, at Northern Southland.
You go, Cheryl. Sorry. Oh, is that your one? The recommended way to make a decision? Is it a vote of the branch delegate, or do we get all members to vote? To make a decision, it's committee based. So it depends on the structure of your committee. So if you are a club with branches, the branch delegates at that club meeting who form the committee are the ones who can make that decision. You need to take it obviously to your members to ratify. That's part of the SGM, but the initial decision on where you're going, that's decided at committee. And the reason we said that is by and large, we think you guys already know which way your members are going to vote anyway.
Yeah.
And so you don't need to have a SGM to get a decision to then come to us, then have another SGM to approve. We think that was too much.
Cheryl's also got a question about at Northern Southland, we've decided to merge to become venues of Northern Southland Club. Does that mean the 3 venues as former branches need to submit the forms? Yes. So the current branch, every current branch out there needs to submit a form to tell us what it's doing. Every current club out there needs to submit a form. So we'll be getting a form from every branch, club and area of New Zealand. So we can tick
And
you
the
off
reason for that,
and know
Cheryl,
what you're doing.
you're merging those 3 clubs as standalone entities are winding up. And so we've got to put you through the winding up process, because you're going, the way a merge works is one of them becomes lead. So your Northern Southland Club becomes your lead club. Your assets will go up to that club. And then we have to wind up the individual ones below it. So we need to
You
know
have to close your
that
bank
your
account.
clubs are going to be winding up so that we can give you the right resolutions to go to the company, the registrar, and wind up effectively.
Excellent. Thanks for that.
All right. And at the moment, that process is draft online, but it's not yet absolutely confirmed. So I guess we'll make the website live for everyone tonight. You'll be able to find it. It's not there yet.
If there's anything you see on there, please get in contact if you've got concerns or issues, or if you think there's stuff that's fundamentally flawed. We can go through our reasoning behind it and we can talk you through what it means. By and large, the constitutions themselves follow the principles of the national constitution. So the regions and clubs are in line with those. And what we've got to remember is the constitution is the high level document. A lot of the stuff that people are concerned about is actually covered off in the general regs. So the next bit of work that we've got to do is to go right through the regs and tidy up the things around how membership works, around how teams are selected, around how Champs Week will work, how area comps will work. That's all coming through out of the regs, and that's the next body of work on the back of the constitutions. And once we figure out what our new regions look like, what clubs are in there, how does that going to work?
And so, as you just saw, if you were watching the screen, if you go to New Zealand Pony Club, NZPCA Resources, Constitution, it's got, oh gosh, Constitution, and it's that second tab there, Constitution Resources. So that is now live and open for everyone to go and have a look. As I said, though, these ones down here, these three ones, they just need to be finalised and approved for those processes. But no one's quite there yet.
Yeah, sorry about that one. I had work today and I wasn't able to go through and review them, but I will be looking at them over the weekend to tidy them up.
No, so please get them in. Do be aware that I'm off to Springston Trophy next week, so I'm looking forward to that. So any South Islanders down there, I'll see you. But you know, it won't be instantaneous. Your approval. It needs to go to a subcommittee.
Yeah, we have appointed a subcommittee of the board to look at all of this, and they're going to be the ones who are doing a lot of the work to help us manage it and make sure that you guys get timely responses. But any questions, please get in contact and we'll try and turn them around as quickly as we can. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. That was really cool.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks,
everybody.
Todd, Lizzie,
Yay.
every other board member. Cheers.
Appreciate
See you
it.
Cheers,
guys.
Liz. Thank you.
See you
Thanks
guys
very much.
later.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.